Throughout 10 years, Friends gave us countless amazing moments, but the show could have gone a totally different path if it hadn't canceled some of its original storylines.
Sweet mother of all that is good and pure.
Who stood up against Chandler cheating on Monica? Which storyline was scrapped after it was already filmed? And who was supposed to be the seventh friend?
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Let's find out. Chandler cheating on Monica. Yeah, you've heard it right. However impossible it may seem, showrunners considered adding this storyline to the Vegas episode. Remember how Chandler and Monica had a falling out after she'd met Richard?
When you go lunching with hunky mustache men and don't tell me about it.
In the initial script, Chandler went to his hotel room and ordered room service after that. The hotel employee who came to get him what he needed was supposed to be played by the actress Lisa Cash.
And we end up talking and laughing and connecting, and Chandler ends up cheating on Monica with my character.
But the day before they planned to film it, Matthew Perry approached the showrunners and shared his concerns. The actor was sure that the fans would never forgive Chandler for cheating on Monica. And he was totally right. These two had the healthiest relationship on the show, so it'd break everyone's heart if this betrayal happened. Besides, it'd repeat the plotline with Ross and Rachel's "we were on a break" thing. Would Chandler justify himself in the same way? And would there even be a future for their relationship after this? We highly doubt that. So we have to thank Matthew for making the showrunners see what a disaster the storyline was. And by the way, Lisa Cash didn't go home without a job that day. Instead of her initial part, she played a flight attendant on Ross and Rachel's flight.
My friend seems to have had a little accident.
And speaking of Rachel, Gunthers' unexpected roommate. The Central Perk bartender's crush on Rachel was a funny recurring gag.
You know, I want a man.
And it could have had an unexpected turn at some point. When Chandler and Monica move in together, Rachel has to find a new place to live. You remember all those back and forths with her moving in with Ross and then with Phoebe? But somewhere in between, she was supposed to live with Gunther. Just imagine the number of awkward and funny moments if this happened. However, Jennifer Aniston and James Michael Tyler decided to convince the showrunners to drop the storyline. They thought that moving in together could have ruined the character of Gunther. After all, he and Rachel would certainly not have become a couple, and things would have gotten too awkward afterwards. And according to Tyler, it wouldn't feel organic. So all that remained was a scene where Gunther tries to make an offer to Rachel.
I was going to offer you my apartment.
Why? Where are you going?
Share in the comments below if you'd want to see them living together. And we're moving on to Rachel's on and off boyfriend. Ross almost had another baby. Season 6 was supposed to give a not-so-pleasant surprise to Dr. Geller. Back then, he dated his student, Elizabeth. Their relationship had its ups and downs, from her father, who never grew to like Ross.
Are you yelling at me?
God, no.
To her quite childish behavior.
You suck!
Yet here's a twist that the showrunners wanted to add back then. Elizabeth was supposed to get pregnant and reveal the news in the Season 6 finale. And then, Season 7 would all be about it until another twist, that Ross wasn't the baby's father. This time, the writers themselves decided to scrap this storyline. After all, they already planned the one with Rachel's pregnancy in Season 8.
They should put that on the box!
And it would be weird to have two similar plots back to back. Besides, it would be way too much to handle for Ross.
No, I need to lie down.
The only good thing that would come out of it was seeing him lose his mind over 3 divorces and 3 babies. And here's another scrapped storyline regarding our favorite paleontologist. Emily had to stay longer. Although most fans didn't like Ross's second wife, you could actually understand her struggle. After all, how would you feel if your fiancé said his ex's name instead of yours at your wedding? Anyone would flip out.
That was pretty funny, wasn't it? Oh!
Soon after that, Emily and Ross get divorced and she just disappears. However, it wasn't the initial plan. Ross's wife was supposed to return to New York and join the gang, at least for some time. But the script changed for several reasons. First of all, it was because Helen Baxendale, who played Emily, got pregnant. So obviously she didn't want to move to New York for filming. That's actually why in all the scenes where she's talking to Ross over the phone, Emily is sitting or lying in her bed.
I thought I'd made my feelings about Rachel perfectly clear.
Helen's belly was already showing at that point, and they had to hide it. Another reason for her quick exit was the lack of chemistry between her and David Schwimmer. At the same time, the next pair of friends connected on such a deep level that they could have actually ended up together. Joey and Phoebe as a couple. There are a few reasons why a relationship between these two would be logical. Ross and Rachel, then Chandler and Monica. Joey and Phoebe were the only two left who had never been romantically involved.
You think you and I should hook up?
At some point, Matt LeBlanc and Lisa Kudrow came up with a funny idea and approached the showrunners with it. They offered to reveal at the end that Joey and Phoebe had been having a fling behind everyone else's backs the entire time.
Hey!
Some fans would certainly find it hilarious. After all, Joey and Phoebe always had a special bond. So it would be kind of cool if there was something else behind their friendship. Yet the showrunners decided not to add this storyline. They were keen on preserving a platonic relationship between Joey and Phoebe, and they were probably right. Just like they were about deleting the next storyline. The Bing's airport adventure. You remember how Chandler and Monica's honeymoon started? Another newlywed couple constantly overshadowed them.
Where are you? Just 10 seconds later.
But initially, the story was completely different. Chandler and Monica were the ones to get bumped into first class. Yet they didn't get to enjoy it because of a silly joke Chandler made.
I take my bombs very seriously.
Sir, you want to come with us?
And every attempt by Chandler and Monica to make things better only made them worse.
See, it's one of those her plan versus my plan kind of things.
What do you mean by plan?
It was supposed to be a funny and innocent plot, but reality made its corrections. The episode had to come out shortly after the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. So the showrunners decided to quickly change most of the episode and remove the bomb thing. That's how we got this couple that Monica and Chandler had to compete with. Given the real-life events, the change was completely logical. And how about the next one? The gang leaving New York. In season 9, Chandler briefly moved to Tulsa for work. And it didn't take him long to realize that he didn't want to be away from his wife and friends. So he quit his job and returned to New York. But it turns out that he could move much earlier, and the entire gang was supposed to follow. In a plot twist, all friends were to relocate to Minnesota in season 5.
Seriously, what?
The series would have shown their adventures as everyone tried to adapt to the Midwest after a lifetime in New York. There would be a replacement for Central Perk, and even a brand new intro. But at some point, showrunners thought that Friends wouldn't be Friends without the New York setting. The city is pretty much a character of the series as well. Its urban landscape, tourist attractions, and all else associated with the Big Apple are basically in every frame. Yet still, we can't stop wondering how the series would go on if showrunners decided to keep the Minnesota idea. Share what you think about it while we're moving on to one more scrapped storyline. The Seventh Friend. We love all of them, but we can't deny that each one of the gang members showed immaturity at least once. Well, mostly more than once. To balance it out, NBC wanted the show writers to add another friend who would be older and more mature. They also hoped that it would help attract an older audience. That's how they got the idea of a character named Pat the Cop. He'd be a police officer hanging out with the 6 friends from time to time, but as they developed the script, the writers decided that it wasn't really necessary to add him. They expanded the mature role to the gang's parents and scrapped Pat the Cop completely.
When my time comes, I want to be buried at sea.
NBC didn't mind the idea and gave them the green light. Good for them and for the show. Which of these scrapped storylines do you think would be the biggest disaster? And which ones would you like to see? Share in the comments below, and then watch OSSA's other videos about Friends.